Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. We are back once again for another live watch along on the YouTube channel as Denmark take on Belgium in Group B. Of course, we are now at match day 2 of the Euros. It's going to be intriguing to see how both of these two sides get on today, of course, especially for Denmark with the whole situation that we had with Eriksen just a few days ago. But if you are new to the stream, as always, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the channel. If you are new, it'd be greatly appreciated indeed. But most importantly, how are we all doing? Hope you're all good. Game kicks off in about 5 minutes time, so do stick around. Of course, we're going to be going through all of the action in just a moment's time. But how are we all doing, everyone? Welcome along to the stream. Good to see you all. As always, it should be a very intriguing match to watch, of course. We haven't just got this game today. We've got another match coming up later on. And then we also had another game which took place earlier on today, as you can see on the screen. Ukraine were up against North Macedonia. A very good game, I have to admit. Very end-to-end towards the back end of that match. Ukraine coming out 2-1 victors in that match. There were 2 penalties in that game. One of them was saved by Dmitrievski. Brilliant save. And no doubt we'll have plenty of drama to come in today's game as Denmark take on Belgium, kick off very, very shortly indeed. And then a little bit later on tonight, I think I'll be back in the building again, probably jumping in and out of the stream. But KL will be the main guy covering that match between Netherlands and Austria. That's coming up a little bit later on tonight from about 8 PM UK time, so don't miss out on that. It'll be a very, very good stream indeed. As I said before, I'll probably be jumping in and out of the stream like we did beforehand over the last few days or so. But as we said, got a brilliant game to come up between Denmark and Belgium. Group B looking very interesting. We just had that game, of course, not too long ago between Ukraine and North Macedonia for the other group, which is Group C. Group B, we will, of course, have to find out everything that goes on. Actually, no, I think I might be right, actually. I think North Macedonia and Belgium's group. I think they are. So we actually had the game for Group B on just a moment ago. Just going to make sure just in case. No, I am wrong. They were in Group C. I was right originally. So Group B game, we had Finland. That was it. Finland yesterday, of course, we had play. Their game ending with a big win for Russia. So Finland under a bit of pressure to maybe get a point in their last game. Denmark, however, of course, dropping out on points with very different circumstances a few days ago. It means that today is pretty much a must-win game, especially with how the other groups are looking across the Euros. I've always said on every stream, you're roughly looking for about 4 points to get yourself through to the next round. In some cases, 3 points might be enough to get you to the next round, but it all depends on whether or not, especially in the later groups of this tournament over the next few days, whether or not those 3 points will be enough. But either way, it's a must-win for both teams. Belgium today could become the second side, technically third. I'm going to count Wales as a team through to the next round, but they'll be, technically speaking, the second side to go through to the round of 16 after Italy's big victory yesterday against Switzerland. And I think, of course, there's a lot on the line in this game. I think we've got a pause in play around the 10th minute mark in respect of Christian Eriksen, of course, who is doing much better in the last few days since what we saw a few days ago, which is brilliant to hear, of course. Glad about that. But I think it should be a very good match indeed, and hopefully it should have plenty of goals in it. I think there's a lot of people out there expecting Lukaku to probably bag a few in this game, and I understand why. I do think there is a potential chance that Lukaku could get a few goals in this match. But never say never with Denmark, because they've got a very good, strong unit, as we know, very strong characteristics, and they'll all be coming together, no doubt, trying the hardest to go through to the next round and do Christian Eriksen a good service while he, of course, continues to get better. But before we kick off with this game, let's take a look at the lineups for today's match, starting off with the Denmark lineup, and it's a little bit of a change from the original team. The one change, more importantly, is Mikkel Damsgaard coming into the team. Now, you could see it as a 4-3-3, However, it's actually looking like it's going to be a 4-3-1-2 with Braithwaite and Poulsen up top together. Mikkel Damsgaard in behind the striker. Delaney, Højbjerg and Vass in the midfield three. Very strong midfield three, you have to admit. And in the back line, Joachim Mihail of Atalanta is the left back. Andreas Christensen playing as a right back today with Yannick Vestergaard and, of course, the legend and potentially new captain of AC Milan next season, Simon Kjaer. Are in the back line. Kasper Schmeichel, of course, another one of the heroes of the last few days, is in goal. On the bench, a few recognisable players. Christian Norgard, of course, of Brentford. He's on the bench. Anderson, I think, of Fulham, is on the bench as well. Dolberg is back. He was out injured for the first game, but he's back in the team today. So plenty of opportunities to maybe see the attacking lineups really go out there and get us a few goals in this match. As for Belgium, it's a 3-4-3, pretty much an unchanged team bar one. We know Timothy Castagne is now out of the Euros for the rest of the tournament, which means that Thomas Meunier, the man who did bag a goal in that game beforehand when he came on as a substitute, he is in the team today, which is fantastic to see. And hopefully we get a very, very good game, as we'll see as well. We've got on the bench a whole host of other players, including the likes of Thomas Vermaelen, Kevin De Bruyne, he's back as well, fit somehow, which I think is incredible to see he's fit, and Eden Hazard as well on the bench. So lineups are all sorted. We are underway with the game. Don't forget to put your predictions in the chat, and for the first time on the stream, as Rowan and Kyle are in the building. Hope you're all both good as always. I believe there is a poll you might be able to answer with Denmark and Belgium. I don't know if it's working or not, but there we go. As you can see in the stream, you can now vote on who you think is going to win the match today. Denmark, Belgium, or of course a draw. And we'll have to see a little bit later on with your predictions to whether or not either of these two teams win, because realistically speaking, the dream result in this group would be for Denmark to win the game. I think it'd be one of those situations where if Denmark were to win, it would open the doors completely. Let's not forget then, all four teams in Group B would be sat on 3 points, and it would mean that the final day of action in Group B would be very exciting, knowing that all four teams could go through to the next round. A draw, however, would make things a little bit different. It would put a lot of pressure on Denmark. Oh, there's a mistake here. Could be a chance. It's Poulsen in the box, and just like that, we're only 2 minutes in, and it's Yusuf Poulsen who puts the ball in the back of the net. And the team that has had such a hard week, it has been a tough and draining experience for these Danish players, but they have taken the lead within the first 2 minutes, and what is a nearly full stadium in Denmark today goes into ruptures as they take the lead. And of course, 1-0 to Denmark, and just like that, it is the perfect start. And it's a really poor ball from Yuri Tielemans, very casual. And the ball, eventually, as it tried to get towards Tielemans from Denaye's pass, was very casual, laid into the path of that man, Yusuf Poulsen, who sees the space inside of the box, and it's a simple finish for him. And just like that, we've already got a goal on the board. And we were saying earlier, it was a situation today where it's so crucial for Denmark to go and get a win. And they have opened the scoring in this match almost instantly with it 1-0. Belgium switching off. And they're going to have to put in quite a performance today if they want to beat the Danes, that's for sure. Here's Carrasco on the left wing. Into Tielemans. Ball lobbed into the box, and it was very nearly 1-1 already. And it was a glancing header from Dries Mertens, which very nearly caught Kasper Schmeichel off guard. And almost nearly, we could have had it at 1-1 after 3 minutes, which would have been a perfect start to the game. But, of course, if you're a Danish fan, you want to go out and win that match. And you wouldn't want to see your team concede instantly. And I think today they've got to be really focused, because it was a very different situation with that match against Finland a few days ago. But we saw the whole situation where, when you looked at the stats of the match, and it's very hard, of course, to look at the stats of that game, with everything that went on. But I think they had something like 22 shots, and I think double figures of them were on target, and they didn't score in that game. Ultimately, Finland having one shot, one on target, and getting that all-important goal to give them the victory. But Kyle saying in the chat, great show there by Belgium, with the framed Belgian shirt with Eriksen's name and number on it, and signed by players, which is lovely, as there might be a chance here for a second goal. Ball's at the edge of the box. It comes to Joachim Mihail, who's in the box on the left wing. This is brilliant from Mihail. He's round everyone, and he's still got the ball, but he doesn't put it in the back of the net. And so nearly could it have been 2-0, but they've got another chance. And it's going to be Mikkel Damsgaard on the right wing this time. Lays the ball into the box, and so nearly it was from Martin Braithwaite with the back heel. And what a lively start to this game. It's a very enigmatic start from both sides, and we could have almost had 3 goals in the space of 5 minutes. And it was Joachim Mihail who I think just loses a little bit of composure at the most important time. He gets round his man Jason Denayer, who's not had the best of starts in the world, but Thibaut Courtois, who we know is 6'6", he's a very tall keeper, certainly was tall enough there to make the save. And just like that, what a start to the match! Who would have thought we'd have been sat here 5 minutes in with the shout of already having 3 goals in the game, but it's somehow still only 1-0. And Denmark going to come forward again on what's been a lively start, and it's with Joachim Mihail again on the left-hand side. Ball flicked into the box towards the path. Oh, and it was Daniel Vass, and again it was another header at the near post, and it was the midfielder / right wing back who's played there, who so nearly got a header into the back of the net. And it could have been 3-0 to Denmark with the way that this game started. And Belgium, I'll tell you something, they do not look good at the back right now. Very, very, very worrying, I think you have to say, for the back three, who are being ripped open by this Danish team. You know, we've got Poulsen, Damsgaard and Braithwaite who were that front line today. And so far, I know we're only 6 minutes in, but they seem to have completely caved open the defence for Belgium. And no doubt Roberto Martinez will be watching on the touchline and hoping that his side can sort themselves out very quickly here, because right now they are being dominated in this game. They've had 3 shots on target, Denmark, and things have got to change very quickly here, or you would expect the likes of Belgium's front line, including Lukaku and Thorgan Hazard and Dries Mertens, to eventually cave this defence open. But here is an opportunity for Braithwaite to drive forward. He's fouled on the halfway line, and they will get a free kick here. And you can see Roberto Martinez watching on, of course. He will not be happy with how they've started here. Very, very open in the defence, and that's the worry, as the free kick will be taken in just a moment's time. Cowput didn't know what that was at first. Looks good, and I think I voted for the wrong team to win. Still early days yet. Very early days. I think it's a very good start indeed, but Belgium will get into this match. There's lots of time for them to get into it. I think we've seen teams before in the past where the first 10 or 15 minutes they really push forward and try and get that early goal, and then sometimes we get to the last kind of half an hour of the game, they might still be leading, and then eventually they do go on to concede, and ultimately the better opposition wins. And I think Denmark as a team have got players who will not get tired, and they're not a team with a weak squad. You know, if you look at all 11 players in this Danish side, they all play in the top 5 leagues in world football. So they all play for the biggest clubs in the world. And they're not going to get tired easy. And even when you look at the bench, they have got the likes of Dolberg that they can bring on. And Andreas Skov Olsen is another one who all play in the top 5 leagues as well. So they're not going to be a team that are going to switch off instantly. But as we've seen before in the past, and something I will be alluding to as the games do go on, it's well worth actually looking at the head-to-head between these two sides, because they've faced off many a time before. And as you'll be able to see on your screen in a moment now, the last game that they played off against each other was actually a 4-2 victory for Belgium. That was back in November 2020 in the Nations League. That was a group stage game, which they definitely had to win to go on to go through to the next round, Belgium. And of course they did. and it was a 4-2 victory in the end. They faced off 15 times before. Both sides have won 6 matches, so very, very even when it comes to these two sides playing off against each other. You know, neither of the teams have really had a foothold or dominated games. But as I said before, Belgium, in recent history, over the last 2 or 3 games, have had a better record. I believe they've won 2 of their last 3 matches against the Danes. And I think this is the strongest that Denmark has probably ever been in terms of a squad. It is a well-rounded team. They've got what is a world-class goalkeeper, I think I would say, or a very good one at the least. They have a Champions League winner in Christensen, who's in the side. They've got Syria, potentially nearly was a winner, wasn't he, with Simon Kayad. They've got players up top who play for Barcelona and Leipzig and all the big clubs in European football. So no doubt, I think we'll see a lot of action from them today and lots of opportunities. Here's Belgium, though. It's going to be Romelu Lukaku. Not said much about him in the first 10 minutes, have we? Been kept very quiet in this game by Denmark. And no doubt they'll be doing their utmost hardest to just try and stop the Inter Milan forward from bagging any goals in this game, as we are in the 10th minute, and I think one of the players has actually forgot to kick the ball out of play for a second, because we're going to have a round of applause here for Christian Eriksen, who of course we know has thankfully recovered, or is recovering at the very least, from everything that has happened recently, and the banner has just been revealed. It says Belle Danmark, Ermedig Christian, which of course I think, of course, will say about him, of course, recovering, which is brilliant to see, and everybody standing up with an ovation for a man who, hopefully, we will see again in football. I really hope we do. I hope that he does get to play again. And I know today they've come out and they've said about the whole situation of him having, I think, a defibrillator put on, as we're seeing everybody coming together to applause, and play will continue now in the 11th minute. And it was lovely to see that. Really, really nice. And as I said, it's one of those where I don't know if we will see Christian Eriksen play again. I don't know if he will or not. That's a question to be answered over time. You know, we've seen Daley Blind was an example of a player who went through something very similar. And he, of course, has continued to play football. Was very emotional when everything happened with Christian Eriksen. So hopefully we do get to see him on a pitch again. And either way, the important thing is that he's recovered, or he's recovering, and hopefully at some point we will see him, whether it's on the pitch or not, in person again. But for now, Denmark doing all they need to do the hardest work for Christian Eriksen, and for also their group, as it stands right now, all the teams in Group B would be sat on 3 points, which would make it very exciting if it was to stay like that going into the last match day. However, here's Romelu Lukaku. Tries to get the ball to Dendoncker. Here's Tielemans. Ball over the top towards Lukaku, but in the end, the chipped pass is just a little bit too heavy, and it will go to Kasper Schmeichel in goal for a goal kick. And Kasper Schmeichel already hitting the ball up the pitch. Might be a chance here for Yusuf Poulsen, who gets the ball. Got an on runner. It's going to be a chance! And it was so nearly an opportunity for the second. And it was that man, Mikkel Damsgaard, who ran into the middle of the pitch. It was a really well-weighted ball, I feel, from Yusuf Poulsen. And in the end, it's a slight touch, I think, from Thomas Meunier on the ball that takes it away from Mikkel Damsgaard. And just like that, the Danish manager, hands on head, can't believe it, big opportunity, goes wide of the mark. And just like that, Denmark find themselves still only 1-0 up in this game. And they've just got to hope here that they can get that second goal soon, because time will be of the essence. You know, we know that this team will eventually go on and probably have chances in the game. But here's Braithwaite, who's through on goal. He's on the right wing. He's on his own. Cuts in. Braithwaite still going. He tries to play it into the middle, and there's no one there, unfortunately. But this is such a good start to the match. Really, really brilliant start to the game. And Denmark, really opening up this Belgian defence. Vertonghen and Alderweireld and Denayer all struggling to really stop that front line. And you can actually feel here, with the way that this game's panning out, that maybe Belgium need to go and score a few goals in this game, because they could get opened quite easily in this match. But for now, still 1-0. And I think what Denmark need to do, and I will probably say quite a bit in this first half, is that they do need to go out there and probably get another goal in this game, just to reassure them that Belgium won't get one back, because we know what Belgium can do with the front line. They can go and score a fair whack of goals, if we're being honest. You know, you've got to think that both in fact, all three of the front line in Mertens, Lukaku and Carrasco all scored double figures this season in their respective leagues. So we know that they can go out there and maybe just go on and get themselves the important goal to get back into the game. But MEFC Talks in the building. How are we doing, mate? I do remember you indeed. Welcome along to the stream. Hopefully the channel is going all good for you, lad. And then Carl put in the chat, it would be nice to see Eriksson back on the pitch, but I think he may have to give up the football. I know it sounds disrespectful to say, but it might be in his best interest. What happened to Eriksson reminded me about what happened to Fabrice Mwamba, and it's very true. I think it's one of those situations where as time goes on, we'll know a little bit more about Eriksson's situation. We know it was a cardiac arrest, which I said straight away when it happened that it was a cardiac arrest with the way that he collapsed and with everything that went on. It looked like a cardiac arrest instantly. As they come forward, again, Denmark here, Poulsen. Well, I don't know what he's tried to do there, Poulsen. I think he was caught in about 12 different minds there on what to do, and in the end, he's kind of chipped the ball way over the goal and out of play for a goal kick, and he didn't really have anybody near him, to be honest with you, to flick the ball into anyway, so it doesn't really matter as much. But another chance there for the Danes to try and get themselves forward and get something in the match. But here are the Danes again. It's going to be Joachim Mæhl. He's going to go forward again, take on his man. Puts the ball into Braithwaite, who gets the slightest of head touches on the ball. And in the end, it was a glimpse of the Belgian goal there for the Barcelona forward. And it's just really unfortunate that he didn't put that on target. Of course, header at the near post. He'll be a little bit disappointed there that he's not at least put that on target. And again, another chance in the game now where Denmark haven't put the ball in the back of the net. And when you look at the stats of the game, they've only had 4 shots in the match so far, but 3 of them have been on target. And they are doing really well here to just make sure Belgium don't do much in the game. And credit to them. I think they've done very well indeed, and it will be a case of time before you'd feel like Belgium would be unlocking the Dane defence. But here are the Danes again. It's going to be Braithwaite playing it into Joachim Mæhl again. Going to come forward. It's going to be Delaney into Mæhl, who tries to once again take on the left back or centre back at least in Jan Vertonghen, but unfortunately he doesn't get further than the Belgian centre back, who gets the ball back instantly. But the Danes will come forward again. Here's Poulsen. Good defending by Meunier. And maybe a chance here now for the Belgians to just get a bit of a spell of possession. That has been their struggle so far. So many of the opportunities in this game have been all down that kind of left-hand side with Joachim Mæhl and the right-hand side as well. So I think what Denmark need to do here is continue to exploit that, and just maybe they might get themselves a few more opportunities. MEFC says, can you show your setup, please? I would, but I'd have to move my camera and that, and I don't want to risk it switching off because it's very fragile, I think is the best way to put it. But yeah, I've got the green screen basically up. I have a green screen up, which I could have a bit of lighting on, but as I've said before, in the UK it's still quite warm, so I don't really want to put lights on because it gets a little bit too warm for me. But yeah, I've got a decent setup, a good enough one to stream at the very least. But it's going to be a long evening, I feel, here. I think referee just having a stoppage in play here. I don't know if they're checking anything on VR. I don't think they are. I think the referee was just telling Daniel Vaz to wait a second. Nothing's been given or nothing's been checked at the very least. But I thought for a second they were checking for something earlier on. Maybe that was something that we've missed. But Højbjerg trying to flick a ball into the box. Missed kick by Tielemans, who's not had the greatest of games so far. It will come here to Delaney. Now it's going to go to Højbjerg, back to Delaney again. He's going to switch the play, and well, he's just switched it out of play for a goal kick. And unfortunately, I don't think that Delaney and Poulsen were on the same wavelength there with the expected cross, and Courtois with the simplest save of the game so far. As we nearly hit 20 minutes, it's been a very quick game so far, I have to admit. I think, of course, because we had so many chances in the first 5 minutes, we could have easily been sat here with, 2-1 to Denmark even, with the amount of opportunities that we had. But it's going to be Belgium who come forward here. It's Thorgan Hazard on the left wing. Ball being given away again, and when they've got to the front line there, Belgium, they've just been completely shut off by the Danes in this match. And MEFC Talk saying, I'm really surprised that Denmark is leading against Belgium. And yeah, it was one of those games where I think so far a lot of us expected Belgium to probably batter them. Or not batter them as such, but do quite decent. But I think Denmark have got a good enough squad to go quite far in this competition. Really wouldn't surprise me if there was like a round of 16 quarter-final spot for them. Because they've got quality players. Very good defence, very good midfield. Maybe not the strongest attack in the world. I think the attack is a little bit weak. They've got a few good players, not many quality forwards. Dolberg is alright. Poulsen's good. Braithwaite's okay. Damsgaard is a player for the future. But I think that's the kind of the position they miss out on a little bit. Pete Thompson, how you doing, mate? Oh, you're good. Welcome to the stream. Says you never covered the Wales-Turkey game. Yeah, I was out. And as I said, we're not covering every match in the group stages. We said we'd cover about 95% of them. I think we've missed like 3 or 4 games tops. And the rest of them we've covered. But, as we said, it's because it's 2, 5 and 8 for every match pretty much. We said we'd try and cover at least 2 games a day, if not 3. So there will be a few games that we'll miss here and there. But obviously for the knockout stages, every match will be covered, no doubt. And as I said, we've covered as much as we could possibly cover in this last few days. So I'd probably say, maybe apart from 1 or 2 of the channels out there, we've probably covered the most Euro games possible without having to cover every single one. But yeah, I think we've done good so far. I think we've done good. And hopefully we'll have a few other good games to come to over the next few days. I think tomorrow we've got 2 games again. England, Scotland. I'm going to be covering that. And then we've also got I think it's the 2 o'clock kickoff as well. So the game we aren't covering tomorrow, I think, is Croatia, Czech Republic, which is a shame because that'd be a very good game. But if not, we might have KL cover that one. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But here come Belgium. It's going to be Thomas Meunier on the right-hand side. Ball lobbed into the box. Trying to get it towards Lukaku. And again, the cross just a little bit too heavy. And it's straight into the path of Kasper Schmeichel, who, I've got to say, ever since there was that opportunity early on, he's not had anything to do. It has been a very quiet 20 minutes for the Leicester City keeper. And as I said, you just feel, as a neutral, you would expect Belgium to turn up eventually. But the longer that this game goes on, I would be very worried if I was a Belgium fan. And no doubt if it stays like this at half-time, I think there'll be quite a big talking to from Roberto Martinez if it doesn't change. But right now, they're doing all they need to, Denmark. And as I said, I think for the neutral, preferably, I'd like to see Denmark win because then it would mean there is a potential chance that Belgium didn't finish in the top 3, which is very unlikely because Belgium have got to play Finland next and Denmark will play Russia. So you would expect Belgium to beat Finland quite comprehensively. But you never know. You really never know. This Euros has brought up a few little surprises. I think this would be the biggest surprise of them all if they were to come out with a victory today. But there's a long way to go here as Denmark come forward. It's going to be Daniel Vass, who looks to be playing on the right-hand side, and Damsgaard maybe playing as a midfielder, just a little bit more in attacking role. Here's Mella. Now into Christiansen. Ball into the box, and it's again a little bit too heavy. Trying to get it towards Poulsen, and the pass is just a little bit too heavy in the end. And that has been the problem, I think, at times for both teams. Heavy-weighted passes and crosses that haven't gone to the intended target. And as much as that kind of first 10 or 15 minutes was very exciting, it has gone very quiet indeed in this last 5 or so minutes. As Peter Thompson says, Belgium are not a good team. They are individual players. That's why they've only beat Wales once in the last 6 games as Wales plays a team. Yeah, I'd agree to a certain extent. I think more than anything, I said this before the last time I watched Belgium. I think they are a very good side, but their one problem is the defence. And I think Belgium as a team in the future are going to struggle massively if they don't get more individual talent soon. And they have got talent. I think they've got players like Jeremy Doku is a brilliant talent for the future. They've got a few other players as well, young Belgians, that look good and promising. But when the likes of Hazard and Mertens retire, and Vertonghen and Alderweireld, for me, the defence for me is the problem. I said this before that they've got, of course, they've got Beata, Denayer, Vermaelen, Alderweireld, Vertonghen. They're the 5 defenders mainly that they've got in the team. Vertonghen, Alderweireld will both retire soon from international duty, so you lose 2 centre-backs there. Thomas Vermaelen, he'll retire soon because he's not young. In fact, I'd say he's the oldest of the lot. He'll retire soon, so that's a 3rd centre-back you lose. Beata, I think, in a few years will retire as well. So they will lose 4 centre-backs, who I would say are good. They don't have 4 other centre-backs in world football right now that are as good as them. Or at least as good as Vertonghen and Alderweireld. I think for me, they will lose a lot of the defensive nature at the back because they'll have weaker centre-backs in there. And of course, as time goes on over the next few years, they might get better players as there's a long-range effort taken on by Daniel Vass. But his shot is just a little bit too high of the goal. And Courtois doesn't have to make a save in the end. And it goes out of play for a goal kick. But yeah, I would say that, for me, that's the worry in the future for Belgium. They haven't got a strong defence, or won't have one. Because for me, they don't have good enough centre-backs up and coming that will be as good as Vertonghen and Alderweireld. At this point, in the next year or two, we could have a potential prodigy on the scene that completely changes it up, and we could be sat here saying, well, yes, they do have a centre-back or 2 that are world-class, or going to be world-class at the very least. But I would also say at the same time that with what we've seen from Vertonghen and Alderweireld over the last 6, 7, 8 years plus, it's going to be very, very hard to find players as good as what they've been for Belgium. And I don't think they'll find those 2 for a long, long time. And then even then in the attack, of course, Hazard again will be another one in the future that will retire. Mertens will probably be, again, another player in the next year or 2. I think maybe after the World Cup he could retire from international duty. I think he's 33, 34, so he's not getting any younger. And I think they are more reassured attack-wise for the future. They've got Lukaku, who's going to be in there for a long time. They've got Carrasco, Doku, as I said before, is another young prodigy that I think could be on the scene in a few years' time. But I think right now, Belgium in a good spot. We've always said they are the golden generation of Belgian players. But as time goes on, that golden generation is going to kind of cut off and change. And I think we are seeing that change happen over time, as we are going to get a free kick here for Denmark. In a very good position to whip this into the box. Can they get themselves a second goal here? They've got players who can get their head on it. One of them is Yannick Vestergaard, who is, of course, 6'5". Yusuf Poulsen as well, who is 6'4" himself. So they've got the height. Can they get a goal from it? Free kick's being whipped in, which I'm a little bit confused by there, because the referee was actually too busy looking at the plays in the box. And I don't actually think he'd blown the whistle, but he let it be took anyway, and it didn't come to anything. But Denmark will get a throw in. And very strange one that there for a second. I thought he hadn't actually blown for him to take it. But he must have, and just was keeping a close eyes. Again, we're going to get another free kick here for Denmark. And they've done really, really well to break down the play here, Denmark. Really well indeed. I would be absolutely fuming as a Belgian fan. You're not really done anything in the game whatsoever, apart from that one little chance. And Denmark here, as I said, get a second goal. going at half-time 2-0, and just maybe, Belgium will be worrying massively. Because I know obviously they've got Finland, so they won't be worrying too much. But for Denmark, this would be huge. And again, Vestergaard is the tallest player in the box. He'd be the one you probably want to aim the ball towards. Poulsen as well, maybe at the near post with a run forward. What can Daniel Vass do here, though? To be Vass who takes it. Ball lobbed into the box. It's a pretty poor cross in the end, and it's Thibaut Courtois, who's 6'6" himself, who gets the ball. And now a chance here for Belgium to counter-attack. It's going to be Thomas Meunier. Tries to feed the ball into Yannick Carrasco, but his pass again, in the end, is just a little bit too heavy. Although saying that, Belgium will get themselves a throw-in the attacking half. And maybe just a little opportunity for them to finally get themselves forward. As there was actually a call for a penalty in the box. But not really much going on there. In fact, it was more of a free kick for Belgium than anything. But referee not seeing it. Doesn't really matter now. And Denmark defending brilliantly so far. And as I said, that man Christiansen, who played in the Champions League final, came on for Thiago Silva when he picked up a injury. He has been absolutely stellar this season, hasn't he, for Chelsea? One of those players that I think has gone under the radar in the last few years. Had a spell at Gladbach a few years ago in the Bundesliga. Played very well there. And ever since he's come back to Chelsea, I have to admit, I think he's got to be one of the most underappreciated centre-backs in the Premier League, if not in world football right now. Because he's an absolutely quality player on his day. And I think any club would be very happy to have a player of his quality. As just having a look what you guys say in the chat. Dr. Peter Thompson saying everybody looking forward to England and Scotland's 2-2 draw tomorrow. Hey, honestly, mate, as long as there's goals in it, I'm happy. You know, as much as I'm an England fan, I also sit there as a neutral and I enjoy games like that. So if there's 4 goals in it, I'm more than fine with that. I'm more than fine with that. I'm going to support England, of course, but at the same time, I am also going to be hoping for a good match. You know, that England game against Croatia for me was not an enjoyable game to watch. I'd rather have a game where, you know, we won 3-2 than a 1-0 win. But we are going to get a corner here for Belgium. Carrasco's going to take it. Going to take it short, in fact. It's Yuri Tielemans at the edge of the box. Real waste of a corner there, I've got to say. It goes back to Thorgan Hazard on the left wing, who shimmies the ball towards the halfway line. And it's going to be Thomas Meunier who flicks the ball into the box. And again, just way too heavy. It's just kept in play by Thorgan Hazard and will actually go out of play again for another corner. And a real waste of an opportunity that was from the first original corner. And I would assume this time they will probably whip it in. Especially when you've got a player like Lukaku in the box. So let's see if it's second time looking for Belgium. It's going to be Carrasco who lobs the ball in. Has to be punched by Schmeichel because it was going towards the goal. Lobbed back into the box by Meunier. Doesn't get to anyone. And a chance here maybe for Denmark to hit on the break. It's Braithwaite who tries to come forward. Vertonghen's got the ball back. And Belgium will come forward again here. With 32 minutes left. Oh, 32 minutes on the clock at the least, sorry. Don't forget, if you are new to the stream, don't forget to leave a like and subscription on the channel. If you are new. Plenty more games to come. Meunier with a ball into the box. And again, brilliant defending the back from the captain, Simon Kjaer, who has been brilliant this season. 109th cap for him. And as I said with Christiansen, again, he's another player who has been quality over the last few years for clubs. Had quite an experience. You know, if you go onto his Wikipedia page, he has been everywhere in the last few years. Played the likes of Sevilla, Fenerbahce, now at AC Milan. Was fighting for the title at one point with Stefano Pioli. But he has got AC Milan back into the UCL next season, which I think we all can't wait to see them again in the Champions League. But a brilliant, brilliant player in his day. And of course, with everything that's gone on, he will be a hero for Denmark, regardless of what happens in the rest of this tournament. For the work that he did to help Eriksen out. And his family as well. Here comes Denmark, though. Going to be a chance here. Daniel Vass got the ball back from Vertonghen, who's just kind of switched off for a second. Ball up towards Yusuf Poulsen. But again, I've got to say, this must be the 7th or 8th time I've said this now in the match already. Another pass that's just a little bit too heavy and doesn't come to anything. And you just feel here, with 10 minutes left of the match, maybe Denmark need to take the chances soon, because Belgium are starting to get themselves into the game here. Although saying that, he's Højbjerg with a brilliant ball into Delaney. Damsgaard flicks the ball into the box. There's no one there. Cleared, but comes out to Damsgaard again at the edge of the box. And Damsgaard's going to go on his own here. Still going. Damsgaard tries to curl it into the bottom left-hand corner. And the young Danish prodigy almost nearly scored an absolute belter of a goal. And there were three Belgian players around him. He got past all three. Then tried to curl the ball into the bottom left-hand corner. It was a very good effort from the youngster, who's only 20. And what's only his second international start, he so nearly put the ball into the back of the net. And as Dr. Peter Thompson's prediction in the chat, your prediction could have very nearly been right, because it could have been 2-0 to Denmark. But here come Belgium, who are pushing forward. It's Romelu Lukaku on the ball. Gets the pass into Mertens. Tries to get it back to Lukaku again. And the eventual ball towards the Belgian striker is just a little bit too weak this time. And unfortunately, Romelu Lukaku, who's in a very good position there for the shot, wasn't able to get the ball back. And Denmark will just calm down the pace a little bit on what has been a very exciting start to the game, you have to admit. But don't forget, we've got another game coming up later tonight. You can join KL, and I'll be also on the stream, popping in and out over the match for Netherlands against Austria. Should be a very good game indeed, that one. Netherlands and Austria both on 3 points. A win for both could guarantee a spot in the next round of Euro 2020. So there will be a lot on the line in that match. Marko Arnautovic suspended in that game for a match, so we won't see him either today. That game coming up about 10 minutes before kick-off. Should be a pretty good game, that one indeed. Probably the best game of the day when you actually look at it on paper. But we're going to get a throw in here for Denmark at the halfway line. Very good start indeed. Exactly what I think people might have expected from Denmark. Maybe not a goal, but the fight they're putting up is a very good one. There might be a chance here for them to come forward again. It's Delaney on the right wing. Ball lobbed into the box towards Poulsen, who takes a good first touch, but in the end it's a pretty decent clearance away from Dendoncker, who gets a touch on the ball. And almost so nearly was there a chance there for Denmark to go through on goal again. And as I said, Dendoncker just in the right space at the right time to hoof the ball away from his goal. And again, the left-hand side of that pitch for Belgium today with the centre-backs has been awful. They have been completely exploited in this first 37 minutes. And that has to be a worry. As Denmark come forward again on the left-hand side. Brilliant work from Hale. But he just can't get the ball at the pitch. As again, Meunier has given the ball away. And Denmark get it back, and they have dominated possession in this first 40 minutes or so. And rightly deserved in terms of the domination in the match. And it's beautiful to see as well in Copenhagen, actually, that we've got a full stadium. You know, it was one of those situations where we saw the Russia match when I covered that game. The 60,000 Russians in the stadium. Pretty much nearly full capacity in Denmark today. Of course, a lot of fans going there, no doubt, to see one of the world's best teams in Belgium. But it's lovely to see. Really nice to see. And as we go on with this tournament, we'll see more and more stadiums, I think, getting more fans in as the tournament progresses, which is brilliant. I think that's what we want to see. We want to see full stadiums. And unfortunately, with Wembley, with the final, I think they were saying it was 50% capacity that they got, which is a shame, because I think we deserve to have 100% capacity for it. But either way, any fans in the stadium is good to see, regardless of how many it is. The fact that they're just in there watching a match is brilliant to say. It was only a few months ago we didn't have anything. But I'm just seeing Denmark's manager here, who will be absolutely delighted with how they've started this game. And Dimski's in the building. How are we doing, Dimski? Welcome along to the stream, my friend. He's put, hi Josh, good to see you in action. Enjoying the channel's coverage. Thank you very much, Dimsky, for being here as always. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're all good. I was keeping my eye out on the darts this morning. Adrian Lewis is back in business again, and it's bloody good to see. Really hoping he can make it to the World Match Play in Blackpool. Made the quarterfinals of the Super Series today for the second time in a row. Averaged 110, I think, in 2 of his games. He looks very good. And that's what we like to see from the jackpot. We also saw Rob Cross as well. He's been back in form again, which is good to see. Steve Beaton as well. Also back in form again. So we're seeing the old guard. Apart from Rob Cross, wouldn't really class him as the old guard, but Steve Beaton doing very well indeed. Carl saying last night's stream was probably one of my faves. Maybe Gilgul for out comedy goal. What happened? What happened? I didn't get to see anything because I was out all day. But from what I saw last night, I would assume both of them were out of sync, and there are a few lag issues. That's my guess. Wouldn't surprise me if it was. But we're going into the last 5 minutes here of this game between Denmark and Belgium. We'll definitely get at least a minute's additional time because of the pause in play we had for the round of applause for Christian Eriksen. But Belgium here doing absolutely nothing in this game. Really, really poor. And I think this has been Belgium's problem a lot. You know, we were talking about it before when Peter Thompson put in the stream. They are a team which are full of individual players. You know, Lukaku, I think, is one of those players. Eden Hazard definitely is by far the player with a bit of an attitude on him. I think they're missing De Bruyne as well. A bit of creativity in the midfield is something that they haven't got yet from Tielemans and Dendoncker. We've not seen much, so I do think we might see De Bruyne come on at some point. I think they said he was going to come on at some point anyway and try and get his fitness levels up for the knockout stages. But let's see, because right now, with the way that Group B's panning, they might not even make it to the knockout stages because they'll all be on 3 points. But here's Lukaku. Ball played towards Carrasco, but the pass is a little bit too weak, and he doesn't get towards the Atletico Madrid winger. And it'll be Mikkel Damsgaard who drives Denmark forward, but he's adjudged to have actually put the ball out of play. So Belgium here will get a throw-in just past the halfway line, and a chance may be, if they could get themselves a goal before half-time, to do something that, I'll tell you something, it'd be very reminiscent of Wales-Switzerland, wouldn't it? Domination by one team, but if they were to get an early goal here, or sorry, late goal, before half-time, then I think if you're the Danish manager, you'd probably be going in thinking, how the hell have we not been in the lead past the halfway mark? But we'll have to see, as Dimsky put hope Denmark will win, sets up a great group finish. And that's what we want. You know, if all 3 teams can be on 3 points, it means that all 4 have got something to play for. And it'll make that group very exciting going into the last match day. Here's Lukaku, though, trying to drive forward, does really well. Lukaku at the edge of the box, plays it towards the path of Dries Mertens. And again, I'll tell you something. Lukaku has had an absolute stinker in this game. But Mertens got the ball back here. Into Lukaku, who goes down, and it's a free kick in a very good position. And just maybe here, an opportunity for Belgium before half-time. And Joachim Mel complained to the referee, but I think you can complain all you want. And at the end of the day, it is the right decision. Completely pulls Romelu Lukaku down in the end. And it is the right decision. As it was actually Simon Kaye who made the foul. So I don't know why Mahel's complaining whatsoever, because it wasn't him who made the foul. But free kick here for Belgium. And I tell you something, as I said before, if they get a goal here before half-time, then we're going to be sat here thinking, how the hell did they get into half-time at 1-1? But we'll see, because this looks like it's going to be flicked into the box. It's Yannick Carrasco, the man who stood over it. Of course, if anything, in this situation, you probably want De Bruyne on it, but he's not on the pitch. So Carrasco will take. Lukaku's in the box. And Carrasco will dink it in. And, well, I've got to say that is absolutely shocking. Again, I don't know what he was thinking there. I don't know if he was in 2 minds of whether to take the shot on, or whether he'd gone to flick that towards the near post, because he put a lot of power onto it, but he put a little bit too much on that. It had just gone out of play, and you can see the Belgian fans' reaction. They are not happy with what they've seen in the first 45 minutes, and rightly so. They have been very poor in this game. And it just looks like here that at half-time, Denmark will be going in with a 1-0 lead. And fair play to them. Because they absolutely deserve it. As Kyle put, Roman kept going 10 seconds behind. Kale dropped out at a point. And then his phone died at the end. You couldn't write it. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Doesn't surprise me. Hopefully he doesn't have issues today. Because I'll be sat in the background. Jumping in and out of the stream. Just hopefully his connection doesn't die out, because I think the last thing we want is his connection to die on stream, but we'll have to see, because I'll be on standby just in case, as I usually am. But I'm quite lucky with mine, because when mine drops out, eventually it'll just come back anyway, so I'm all good in that respect. But 30 seconds left of the first half here. Denmark 1, Belgium 0, maybe a chance here for a second goal. Miller. They play the ball into the middle. Chance here for Højbjerg at the edge of the box. He's given the ball away. And now there's a chance here for Belgium to hit on the break. It's Carrasco who tries to play the ball into the path of Thorgan Hazard. But the red shirts completely surround the Atletico Madrid winger. And he can't find anywhere to pass the ball. And there might even be a chance here for Denmark to go through on goal. It's Braithwaite, who I think was offside. But play continues. And well, Braithwaite's shot is pretty poor. It's a goal kick in the end. I think it was offside, to be honest, but doesn't matter anyway, because his ball got to play for a goal kick. As I believe we've gone into 1 minute of additional time. Not going to see anything come from it at the very least. But what a poor performance it's been from the Belgians. No doubt at half-time, I think Roberto Martinez will be giving quite the bollocking to his 11 players on the pitch, because they have not played well at all. Although saying that, might be one more chance here. It's Romelu Lukaku on the left wing. Brilliant defending by Kaya. Brilliant defending. Gets the foot out. Makes the tackle. And the man who plays against Romelu Lukaku in the Milan derby has had a pretty easy game against him so far. He's completely bodied him. And we're going to have Belgium with a throw-in, which will be taken. And I think the referee will probably blow his whistle fairly instantly here. As the throw-in is taken. And the referee blows his whistle for half-time. And in a game where I think a lot of us expected Belgium to play quite well, it's the Danes who have started this match brilliantly well. And it was a really, really thunderous first 5 or 10 minutes of action, which could have easily had 3 goals in the game in the first 5 minutes. It started off with a very good opportunity in the match, which was taken by Yusuf Poulsen. It was a mistake at the back by the Danes, by the Belgians. And they found themselves in a very, very poor position, which caused them to give the ball away and eventually Poulsen to put the ball into the back of the net. Then they've had a few other glorious opportunities in the game. Mikkel Damsgaard had a brilliant chance on goal. Braithwaite had a near post header. And there were a few chances indeed. But unfortunately, they didn't get that second goal in the game. As for Belgium, there was one opportunity in the match. It was a opportunity, I think it was from Thorgan Hazard, about 5 minutes into the game. It was a decent effort which Kasper Schmeichel had to parry. But apart from that, they just haven't done anything whatsoever at all in the game. It was one of those where ultimately just nothing's been going on for them. They've looked really poor. Lukaku's been bodied for the most of the game. And I think I'll give credit to the Danish back line. They have not really had much being thrown at them in the game. And that is a real credit to the Danish back line, because they've done so well so far to keep the players out that they're going to have a tough 45 minutes. I think we'll see some things changed. Maybe we might see someone like a De Bruyne come on in the midfield, or an Eden Hazard to try and change it up. But this is probably the first game which I feel we'll see a change at half-time. And it will be for Belgium, because they've just not played good enough at all. And I think that midfield of Dendoncker and Tielemans is not good enough right now to open up the defence of Denmark. But we'll talk about that game a little bit more in a few moments' time. If you are new to the stream and you have enjoyed the watch-along so far, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you are new to the channel, because we've got more games still to come up a little bit later on today on the stream. Of course, earlier on this afternoon, we had Ukraine against North Macedonia. It was a brilliant game to watch, that really enjoyable game. Ukraine coming out 2-1 winners in that match. North Macedonia, very disappointing for them indeed. Played very well again in that match, but just couldn't get anything out of the game. Denmark, of course, currently up against Belgium. We'll have the second half of that game up in about 10 or so minutes' time. Netherlands, of course, are up against Austria. That's from 8 PM UK time. We'll be live about 10 or 5 minutes before kickoff. KL's going to be covering that match. I'll be in the background, jumping in time to time. Hopefully he doesn't have too many internet issues whatsoever. But that game should be a brilliant one. We'll talk about the lineups and such when they do come out a little bit later on the stream. But as you guys have been saying in the chat, and as Rowan has put, and I completely agree with you, mate, brilliant game so far. Denmark, are on fire. Nothing proves it more when in the final 2 minutes they lose the ball. And I think it was Kier and Delaney just hunting the Belgians down, playing with such heart and intensity. And he's spot on. And I know, obviously, I think there'll be a few people in the mind saying they're doing it for Eriksen. But also at the same time, I think regardless of what happened with the situation with Eriksen, even if they lost that game with Eriksen in the side last week, they still had to come into this match today and get something, because if they didn't get anything and they finished on 0 points after 2 match days, then it would look very hard for them to go through to the next round. And I think, yes, there will be that added intensity and heart and desire to go and get that win for Christian Eriksen, which will make them play much more, and they've played brilliant so far. But credit to them. They played bloody well, and I really hope that we do see a similar performance in the second half, because as we were saying before, we want to go into that last match day and at least have one group where all 4 teams could go through to the next round, or get booted out of the competition. But we'll have to see, because we've got another 45 minutes still to come with this game. Check out our social media if you haven't already on our stream. The Twitter is at the _top corner, and our Instagram is the sports corner _. Do go and check that out. Please do indeed, of course, if you want to see everything on when we go live. And then also, if you want to see what's coming up over the next few days on the channel, this is how it's looking for the content over the next few days. We've got, of course, the second half of Denmark v Belgium live in about 10 or so minutes time. Should be an interesting second half indeed. Coming up a little bit later on this afternoon, we've got KL with Netherlands against Austria in Group C, a must win for both teams to qualify for the round of 16. Rome will be back tomorrow from 5 to 2. Sweden up against Slovakia. Should be a very interesting game, that one. Of course, both teams getting off to a brilliant start in Group E. England against Scotland is the one to watch. That's from 10 to 8 with myself live on stream. Should be a brilliant match indeed. And then Rome will be back on the 19th of June again for a 2 o'clock kickoff. Hungary take on France in Group F. That should be a brilliant game indeed. That one, of course, Hungary, a very unfortunate start with a 3-0 defeat against Portugal. France looking very good against Germany. Should be plenty of goals in that one. Hopefully not a absolute battering for Hungary. I don't think we want that. But looking at what you guys have been saying in the chat, MEFC Talk has said why I ignored you. I just haven't seen your comment till now, so please do be patient. He's asked, should I make a second channel? Would you? I guess what you could do is you could do watch-alongs, and that I know obviously I've seen what you've been putting in the chat. You could potentially make it a situation where you could go on and maybe make it on your main channel. I think the thing is, if you've got a channel already, what you probably want to do is try and build that first channel. There's no point, in my opinion, making a second channel if you've already got one and it's not maybe going the way you want it to. I think what I would do is I would make your first channel priority. Do watch-alongs on your first channel. And as I said, what you could do then is with the MEFC Talk brand, you could do Man United watch-alongs when the Premier League comes back. And obviously you don't have to just do Man United watch-alongs, but I would, do Man United watch-alongs as well as other games, and really get that first channel built up. And then what you could do afterwards is, if you do build up a good rapport, a good amount of subscribers, is then go make a second channel. Because I think, and I look at it from a business perspective, if you make a second channel without already having a backing of a first channel, then it's very hard for your first channel to grow if your second channel's growing at a quicker rate. Because then what will happen then is that your second channel will become your first channel, because you will rely on that more for views and subscribers and for people to join than you would your first. So what I would do is I would make continue with your first channel, take the ideas of what you've got for a second channel, and do them on the first. And then, of course, as I said before, you'll build up an audience, you'll build up a rapport, and then maybe afterwards you make a second channel. But that's what I would do. Obviously, it's your choice to what you want to do. If you want to make a second channel and have a watch-along channel, and then have United stuff separately, then that's fair. I understand why. I think that's still a decent idea within itself. But I think it's one of those where, from a business perspective, and maybe I'm looking at it from a greedy business perspective, that's what I would do. I'd build that first channel and then make one over time as a second channel. But that's my opinion. You can do what you like. It's your choice on that one. But I'm going to take a quick break for the moment. I will be back in a few minutes. As we said, we've got the second half of that game coming up very, very shortly indeed. It should be a very good second half coming up. I did forget to show you ones to watch. It was actually Jonas Wind, who's on not actually on the bench today, which is really a shame. I thought we were going to see him at some point. So that is completely pointless. But we did pick out Mikkel Damsgaard in the first game, so I guess he was my original one to watch in the first place. But we will take a short break. I will be back in about 5 or so minutes for the second half of this match. Denmark 1, Belgium 0. I am going to put a poll actually very quickly in the chat for you guys to just maybe see. I'm seeing in the chat your original poll, 18% of you voted for Denmark to win the game. Of course, that's looking a little bit different right now, isn't it? 64% of you guys voted for Belgium to win the match. And then 18% of you guys voted for the draw. I'm going to end that poll there, change it, and I will put you guys another poll in the chat when it allows me to do so. In fact, please don't tell me you can only put one, because there we go. We can see 66% for Belgium, 16% for Denmark, and 16% for the draw. My next question for you guys as we go into the break, do you think Denmark can go on to win the match? Can go on to beat Belgium? Simple answer, of course, of yes or no in the chat. And that poll is up for you guys in a moment's time. We'll do more polls as we continue on the streams, because I think it's a great idea to see what you guys are thinking in terms of the match. But hopefully, we'll have to see what goes on. You guys can vote on the poll for now. I'm going to take a quick break. Back in 5 minutes for the second half. Do you think Denmark can beat Belgium? Do tell us in the chat, and we'll have a look on the poll in just a few moments' time. But as for now, get yourself a drink, and we'll be back in a few moments. See you in 5 minutes. Thank you very much to those of you that waited. Welcome along back to the stream for the second half of this match between Denmark and Belgium. For those of you that maybe missed the first 45 minutes or so of action then, as it stands in this game, we are sat with what I would probably say is the first shock of the tournament. Maybe others would disagree. I can't think of any of the other games that have kind of shocked me massively yet. But Denmark find themselves 1-0 up to Belgium as it currently stands in this game. Denmark have played very well in this match. Brilliantly well, I have to say, indeed. And seen from you guys in the chat, of course, I put up a poll while we took a little break a few moments ago, asking you guys, do you think Belgium can go on to beat Denmark? Sorry, can Denmark go on to beat Belgium in this game? You've still got a little bit of time to vote. We'll have a look at the actual poll in a second to see what you guys have actually predicted for that. I would assume a lot of you guys have probably... It's quite hard to say whether you guys have gone for yes or no, but we'll close that off in a minute. Carl saying, see, this is why Josh is the man. Whenever you need info on YouTube channels, go to Josh, absolute legend. Yeah, and what I would say as well in MFC Talk is, most importantly with any channel, and look, we're not a big channel, we haven't got loads of subscribers on here, but the important thing with a channel is consistency. You know, if you want people to come into your stream and stay long periods of time, you have to be consistent. You know, you can't take periods of time off and take breaks of long periods, because, you know, if you do, let's say, a video and then you take 2 weeks off and then you do another stream and then you take 2 weeks off, there's not enough consistency there to keep people in. What you want to do is you want to make sure you've got a good amount of consistency, good amount of streams, good amount of videos, whatever you kind of do on your channel. And then, as I said, the more people watch, the more people will want to stay and come back. You know, that's why we've done all of the Euro games pretty much so far, because anybody new that wants to come into the stream, if they like the content that we've got, then of course they're more than welcome to say and subscribe. And I think as well, we're quite lucky because there's 5, 6, 7 of us doing it. It's so easy for us to be able to alternate and constantly change who's covering matches. It's so much easier in that respect. But for someone, if you're doing it on your own, for example, what I'd recommend you do is, you know, if there's games at the weekend, you could maybe cover one on a Friday and then cover one on a Sunday. And then you've got that consistency there. But we have seen a change at half-time of the match. I said before, I think we'll see De Bruyne come on at some point. And it's not the substitution I thought we'd actually get. But Kevin De Bruyne just come on. They've actually taken Dries Mertens off, which I think is quite an interesting call. Because I was saying before in the midfield, I think Dendoncker and Tielemans aren't the most creative of midfielders. I think, of course, Tielemans is the most creative out of the two. But I think at points, you need somebody in that midfield who can get the ball up the pitch. But what they've done is they've taken Mertens off, put De Bruyne as the right forward, which I don't know whether he'll stay as a right forward or whether they'll change the system up here and maybe go for De Bruyne in midfield and kind of change the system up and maybe have Carrasco and Lukaku up top together. But for now, they've gone for De Bruyne to come on. And it's the right decision in the end. And it's the first time we'll see De Bruyne since the Champions League final, which, of course, he came off injured. So good to see him nice and fit again, of course, after the injury that he had. But I'm going to end the poll because we are into the second half. And wow, I mean, I'll tell you something. You guys have got the belief in Denmark. We'll see it will come up on the screen in a moment. Of course, you guys were predicting earlier on in this stream that 66% of you voted Belgium to win the match. Look at that. 77% of you in the stream think that Denmark can go on and beat Belgium in this game. There's only 22% of you, from what you've seen so far, that have said, no, Belgium will go and beat Denmark in this game. But I guess it could still end in a draw. So realistically, then that would mean all of us would be wrong. But 77% of you guys have gone for Denmark and backed them to beat the Belgians. We'll have to see what happens, as we are underway, of course, with the second half of action. Don't forget, more action still to come tonight. We've got Netherlands-Austria. You can join KL for that around about 5 or 10 minutes before kickoff for that game. So do not miss out on that. Should be a very good stream. I'll be in there as well, jumping in and out of the stream, just in case KL's connection goes down like last night again. But we'll have to see whether or not that happens indeed. But Belgium here. First 2 or so minutes of the second half. Just got to settle the ball, I feel. Get a bit of a foothold in the second half. We saw what happened in the first half when Denmark had 2 or 3 very good opportunities in the first 5 minutes and even put the ball into the back of the net. You know, you don't want that to happen again. And for now, It is a little bit of a slower start than what we had in the first half, which is a shame because we could have had 3 goals in the first 5 minutes of this game, but at least we've had a goal at least. As Tubbs is in the building, how are we doing? Welcome along, Tubbs. Hope you're good as always, my friend. Filipino brethren. Might be an effort from outside the box here for Delaney, who was urged to shoot, but his shot in the end was a little bit wide of the mark. And, well, he was told by the crowd to shoot. He was commanded to take on the long-range effort with the amount of space that was given. But in the end, his shot was not as close towards the goal. And unfortunate for him there, could have been a better opportunity. As Peter Thompson says, Belgium's played even worse in the second half. He's going 3-0 to the Danes. That's an interesting shout. That's a very interesting shout. 3-0 to the Danes. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because I think they've played good enough in that first half, but as I said, the second half could be a completely different ball game with someone like De Bruyne on the pitch. Of course, I know he's been out for a little while, but here's Carrasco on the left wing. Tries to play the ball into the middle. No one there to get the ball. And it will come back to Belgium again. Here is Yuri Tielemans. Outside the box, he can take on long-range efforts of his own. He lobs it towards Meunier, who goes for the header. And in the end, it actually looks like we're seeing the replay back here with the ball to Thomas Meunier. Just not the greatest header in the world from the Belgian midfielder slash fullback. And Roberto Martinez applauds him, saying that's much better. That is at least an opportunity which they didn't have in the first half, but I think he's got to do better there. Not the greatest of headers at all from a man who did score in that previous game against Russia. Came on as a substitute for Timothy Castagna, who we know is out for the rest of the tournament and probably for a good few months after his eye socket injury. But Meunier came on, did very well in that game. Hasn't been his best game today, has it? And we know he struggled at Dortmund, not being the best of seasons for him. We know by the reaction of Rowan and the Dortmund fans that he's had a struggle. As very nearly, I tell you something, Courtois was playing a very, very dangerous game there. Came out of his goal and had to, but very nearly played the ball into the path of Martin Braithwaite, who, if he'd have got a touch there, would have probably had an open net to put the ball into. Very lucky there indeed, and somehow it will stay 1-0 to Denmark here, as Tubbs says, I want Denmark to win, but I feel like Belgium will wake up in the second half, and I agree with you. You just feel like they will kind of wake up at some point, but there's going to be a free kick here for Denmark, and it's in a very good position. And it was given away by Yuri Tielemans. And a good little skill there from Damsgaard, who goes down from the foul of Yuri Tielemans, two of the stars of the future for either of the respective sides. But he's going to get a free kick here, and maybe an opportunity for Denmark to take this on in the first 5 minutes. And as they did in the first half, get a nice early goal and put themselves 2 to the good. We'll have to see. One of the players stood over it is Daniel Vass, who has taken a few set pieces in this match. And then the other player stood over it is going to be Damsgaard. It's going to be Damsgaard who takes it, and it hits the wall and eventually ricochets out of play for a Denmark throw-in, but that's really unfortunate there. Comes off the head of Thomas Meunier. One of the taller players on the pitch, isn't he? Thomas Meunier, 6'2". And just unfortunately there for Mikkel Damsgaard that it didn't come to anything. Here is 6 minutes though on the clock in the second half. And again, Denmark here have come out very good. Come out really well in this game. And that for me is really key to how the second half is going to pan out. They've got the ball, they've got a foothold. Belgium not really done much with the ball when they've had it yet. So you would kind of expect Denmark to continue on here. As they come forward, Damsgaard trying to play the ball into Poulsen. And unfortunately, Poulsen wasn't on the same wavelength again. And we are going to get... Well, it was going to be a free kick for Belgium, but the advantage is being played. It's going to be Romelu Lukaku on the right wing. Tries to take on his man, and again, brilliant defending from Vestergaard at the back, who bodies the Belgian. And a simple tackle for Vestergaard. In a game where Lukaku's not played well at all. He has really struggled in this game, Romelu Lukaku. And Denmark have defended probably the best I've seen in the tournament, bar Sweden. You know, we saw Sweden. That is the masterclass of defending in a 90-minute performance. But Denmark here, completely shut out. You could arguably say some of the best attacking talent in world football. And they've made it look a doddle. Which is not easy to do, is it? When you've got somebody like Romelu Lukaku who bagged 30-plus goals last season. He's never easy to defend against. But they're making it look pretty easy so far. But it's going to be a long way to go in this game. You know, we're only, 52 minutes in. There's going to be at least another 35 minutes of defending, 40 minutes. Here is Ulrich Tielemans. Tries to go alone. Doesn't in the end. Good defending from Thomas Delaney. Again, another simple tackle for the midfield this time. And Belgium will look to push forward again. And I think that'll be the worry in this game. Very similar to how Sweden were. As they defend. And of course, they haven't had to defend like Sweden did and push numbers back. But when they are going to defend, if Belgium do get that goal in the game, the worry will begin to creep in of whether Belgium can go on and maybe win the match overall. But so far, so good. Tielemans trying to flick a ball up towards the path of, I think it was Den Donker who made the run forward. But in the end, it's going to be a free kick for Denmark at the halfway line. And a chance for the home side to break. Here's Damsgaard. Into Mæhle. Now into Delaney. Tries to get it back to Mæhle, but it doesn't come to him in the end. And now there might be a chance here for Belgium to come forward. It's Romelu Lukaku, got round his man. Brilliant work from Lukaku. Tries to play into the middle towards De Bruyne. Still going, and that is brilliant. Brilliant work from Belgium. And just like that, it's Thorgan Hazard who's at the near post to get the equaliser for Belgium. And you could say it's a little undeserved, but it's one moment of sheer class from Romelu Lukaku. And that is a magnificent goal for Belgium. And it is beautiful work from Romelu Lukaku, who just runs down the right-hand side. You think Kevin De Bruyne is going to take on the shot when the ball's played towards him. He doesn't in the end. Completely opens up the Danish defence. And if Thorgan Hazard wasn't there, then Yannick Carrasco was. There were two players at the near post. And just like that, Thorgan Hazard, who puts the ball in the back of the net. And that is the difference. When you bring a world-class player on like Kevin De Bruyne, that's what he can bring to the table. And just like that, it's Denmark 1, Belgium 1. And it's Thorgan Hazard of Borussia Dortmund who puts the ball in the back of the net. And that is a world-class goal from a world-class set of players, including Romelu Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne, who completely ripped open the Danish defence. And I'll tell you something. With a goal like that, you know, for the last 55 minutes, we've sat here and said the Danish defence has been completely closed off. But it's those moments where you can penetrate the back line. And that's exactly what they did. And now it will mean, are we in for a completely different game? As you did say, Tubbs, that they were going to open up this game. And they certainly have indeed. As there is now going to be a corner here for Denmark. And maybe could be an opportunity here to go from being 1-0 to 1-1. Back to leading again. And it's come off the leg of a Tongan. Can they get something in this game again? Corner going to be taken in a moment. And I'll tell you something, if they could put this in the back of the net, then it would make the game very interesting, because we'd be back to square one again for the Belgians. And as it stands, it would put Belgium to the top of the group on 4 points. That would be probably enough to get them through to the next round. Denmark would be bottom on a point. As we're going to see the corner lobbed in by Daniel Vass. It's played short. Damsgaard lobs the ball into the box. It's a really awkward cross to the end. And Vestergaard, who couldn't really do much in the end. Delaney then gets a touch but has to improvise. And in the end, interesting shout here from the referee. He's given a free kick to Denmark. And I originally thought that was a free kick for Belgium there. I don't really know. I think the referee had a bit of a tricky situation there on who to give the free kick to. But in fact, when you actually look at it, I think Thorgan Hazard's protests are quite right. I think he's quite unlucky there that's not being given as a free kick to Belgium. But either way, Denmark here are going to get a free kick. Probably about 35 yards out, so I'd assume this one's going to get whipped in rather than being hit from long range. Can they get themselves a goal in this match and take the lead again? The centre-backs are up. And it will be Vass and Damsgaard over the free kick. It's going to be Vass who takes it. It's going to be taken short with a routine. Comes out to the edge of the box towards Delaney, who takes the shot on. It's blocked in the end. And Romelu Lukaku gets the ball back. And here comes Lukaku, but brilliant defending from Simon Kjaer. And, well, the second tackle wasn't as good. And it was actually Daniel Vass, sorry, with the tackle. And Vass does go into the book. And as the first tackle was good, the second tackle wasn't as good. And it will be the first yellow card of the match to the Valencia midfielder / fullback, who completely wipes out Thomas Meunier there, as Peter Thompson saying, how lucky Denmark to run riot on them. And, well, we are going to see a change here. In fact, we're going to see two changes. One of them is Eden Hazard, who's coming onto the pitch. He comes on for Yannick Carrasco. And for the first time this season, welcome to the pitch, Axel Witsel. Been out with a long-term injury, Axel Witsel at Borussia Dortmund. Played a little part at the beginning of the season and then was out pretty much for the rest of the season. So this is his first game back. Tried to get as fit as he possibly could for the Euros, and it's brilliant to see Axel Witsel back. Of course, Witsel and De Bruyne. I think Witsel more than anything, who hasn't kicked a ball for a long, long time. Got his Achilles, which was the issue for him. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Is Witsel with the first touch of the ball? And as we said before, Eden Hazard, again, another player who has been out with a few injuries this season at Real Madrid. Had a few issues, hasn't he, at La Liga. But I think, to be fair, Axel Witsel's injury was a little bit worse than Hazard's. As we do get a free kick here for Denmark at the halfway line. Are they going to run riot, though? That's the question. Peter Thompson wants them to run riot. We'll have to see whether or not they do. As we reach the half an hour mark of the game in terms of what's left. Denmark 1, Belgium 1. If you've just joined us, Belgium with the equaliser courtesy of Thorgan Hazard. It was a brilliant team goal with Lukaku and De Bruyne. And here comes Eden Hazard, and a little bit of skill from him as they push forward. De Bruyne into Eden Hazard, and you can now see the sheer class that's on the pitch for Belgium. You know, we were saying earlier that there's a few players on the pitch that hadn't really had a great game. Now you've got the likes of Hazard and De Bruyne to defend against. It's going to be a bit of a tricky match for them, as we are going to get a free kick here. And it's going to be a free kick for, I think, Denmark. Braithwaite going down. Thorgan Hazard with the supposed tackle. I don't actually think he caught him in the end, but free kick has been given. And Denmark will make a change of their own as they respond. As we see the goal back once again for Belgium. It was a brilliant goal, and Lukaku did so well to make the run, and then it was De Bruyne who just opened up the defence. And I mean, what a brilliant assist it was for him. Well onside was Thorgan Hazard. And you can see the reaction from Roberto Martinez, who probably knows in this situation, with how this game has panned out, he's a little bit of a lucky man, I'll be honest with you. But we are going to see some changes now for Denmark, and on comes Christian Norgard. On for Yusuf Poulsen. Norgard, of course, going up with Brentford in the Premier League next season. That game, of course, Brentford going to have against Arsenal, the opening match of the season. Going to be a very exciting game, that one. As Jens Schrieger comes onto the pitch as well for Daniel Vass. Here's Mæhle. Inside the box. Takes the shot on his own. He's deflected. Comes back to Denmark again. Here is Schrieger. Into Delaney. Into Damsgaard. Now to Mæhle. Back to Damsgaard again. Delaney tries to get the ball back. And he does very well to get the tackle in without giving away a free kick. And Denmark will come forward again. Vestergaard. into Striger Larsen. And now a chance for Denmark to come forward. Damsgaard into Mæhle. Ball into the box. And the cross is a little bit too heavy and goes out of play for a goal kick. And that's where the problem's going to be now, isn't it, for this Denmark side? It's trying to open up the Belgian defence again. And as this game has gone on, they've been a little bit more reassured at the back. And we said it was that first 20 or 30 minutes of the game where they really needed to exploit the defence of Belgium. And unfortunately, as this game has gone on, they've not quite been able to do so. Especially in the second half. But they're doing alright. And they'll just need to hope here as this game does continue on that a few more chances do come their way. As Peter Thompson thought that was Hazard was offside. He was well on. He was well on. I think you were hoping more than anything that he was offside, rather than thinking he was offside. But yeah, I think he was well on in that situation. Well on indeed. As I'm going to fix myself a drink. 2 seconds. Apologies. Here are Belgium though coming forward, and I have to say you can see the difference now. There's a real sense of urgency for them to come forward. And here's Munier trying to get a touch of the ball. Good defending by Christensen in the end. And it will be a corner for the Belgians. I feel like I could do ASMR here. I don't even know if you can hear it or not, but I feel like we could come in an ASMR channel now. Here we go. Beautiful. You love it. Free kick. Corner to Belgium. Lobbed in by De Bruyne. Oh, it comes nearly towards Lukaku. Flicked away by Kjaer eventually. So nearly came towards Lukaku at the near post. And Belgium will get the ball back. Here's Kevin De Bruyne. Going to play it back to the keeper and play it safe. But Wayne's in the building. How are we doing, my friend? He says good evening to all of the England fans and all football fans. How are we doing? Hope you're good as always, Wayne. Hope you are well. Josh just finished the darts. Hopefully you enjoyed it, my friend. Very good day of darts. I know somebody put in the chat, Peter Wright. Did Peter Wright win in the end? 6-3, right. In the final. So he must have won it. Good result. Who did he play in the final? You'll have to tell us. Because obviously I was keeping my eye out today on Adrian Lewis. Had a brilliant, brilliant week, I've got to say. 2 back-to-back quarterfinals. Looking very strong with his new darts. Steve Beaton as well, having a really good week. Both players needing to if they want to get to the World Match Play next month. And Peter Thompson saying he was onside, but I think my £300 at 6-1 is still looking okay. Come on, Denmark. Hopefully, lad, you can go and get a win and get some big money on the board. I put some bets on. Let's say every single bet today is lost, so I'm not going to be betting anymore. No, I probably will do, but not for a few days at the very least. And I don't know what the referee's given there. Is he giving offside? Alderweireld's not happy with the linesman. I think, yeah, he's given offside in the end there. And it will, yeah, but Lukaku was flagged as offside, so free kick given to Denmark in their own half, which Schmeichel's going to take. But I wonder now if you are. I wonder if you are. If you're wondering here, just maybe with Denmark, what's the mindset for the rest of this game? You know, you've got 25 minutes left of the match. Belgium really starting to get themselves into the game here. You just start to wonder to yourselves, do Denmark take the draw here and then hope that the game that they have against Russia they can go and win? Or do they go for the win? Because I think they will go for the win. I think they will go for the win. I think they have to more than anything. I don't think it's really based on choice. But, of course, that game against Russia, who haven't looked great in this tournament, I'll be honest with you. I were going to put them down as a dark horse, but I think they've really struggled massively. They're just one of those teams you kind of look at and you think they've got a little bit of ability about them up top with Juba, but they're a very immobile team. And I do think Denmark will beat them. But a point would be very good for them, because I think 3 points won't be enough. Or might just, depending on your goal difference. As Wayne said he won 8-4 over Luke Humphries. Not bad final, that, actually. Luke Humphries doing very well indeed. As JJ Manning says, Harry Kane apparently out for the rest of the Euros. Is that true? I'm going to have a quick look on Twitter and see if that is big news. And see whether or not Harry Kane is actually out or not. I mean, if he is, then that is a pretty big blow, isn't it, for England, if he is out. Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to see whether or not that happens and he's actually out. But apparently, as well, I know with Tottenham, talking about Tottenham, apparently everything with Fonseca has gone out of the window, hasn't it? As they're trying to find the manager. And apparently, I know this morning I heard Gattuso was sacked or left Fiorentina after about 3 weeks, as there's a effort taken on from outside the box from Norgard, but doesn't come to anything in the end. There's a bit of pushing and shoving going on, and I think, yeah, the referee's just going to play on and not bring out any other cards, but apparently Gattuso might be the next manager of Tottenham now. So they've been out of a job for about 5 hours, and now he might be getting himself a job at Gattuso. At Spurs, even. At Gattuso. At Spurs is what I wanted to say, but chance here for Denmark to come forward. Ball played towards Mailer. Good defending in by Denier, but he's giving the ball away, and there might be a call here for a penalty. And, well, referee is going to give that as a dive. And that's a very good decision from the referee there, as Damsgaard does go down rather clumsily. And in the end, Damsgaard goes down, and he accepts the yellow card he's been given because, well, it wasn't a penalty in the end. And good decision from the referee. And that's the second time today we've seen a decision like that. We saw a decision given earlier on in the Ukraine match. And yeah, I think Jason Denier there, very lucky man, that that didn't come off any worse than it did. But yeah, Gattuso in charge is an interesting one. A very interesting one. I mean, first of all, you've got to hope you keep him in a job longer than 3 weeks. But I think, as Kyle said, total mess at Spurs. Should have got Conte. They should have given him his demands, but I guess it depends what he was demanding, as Lukaku's in the box here. Gonna have to come out on the right wing. Hasn't really got anybody to play it into. He's gonna go alone. Plays it to the edge of the box towards Tielemans. De Bruyne, lovely work. Edge of the box! Brilliant from De Bruyne! And world-class talent brings world-class goals! And just like that, the man who's been on the pitch for about 20 minutes bags a goal and an assist. And Kevin De Bruyne, welcome back to the Euros, baby, because Belgium take the lead. And that is sheer brilliance again from Romelu Lukaku, who found himself in a position where, honestly, it looked like he wasn't going to be able to do anything. Somehow gets the ball to Yuri Tielemans, and Kevin De Bruyne at the edge of the box rattles in a brilliant, brilliant finish. And just like that, the man who I think probably most Belgians were screaming out to come on into this game gets himself a goal. And it's 2-1 to Belgium, and Denmark, unfortunately, are finding themselves very, very close towards potentially being knocked out of the Euros. Remember, of course, they could still get 3 points against Russia, but with the way it's looking very unlikely that 3 points would be enough for them to get through. So the emphasis to get at least a point in this game was fairly big. But the difference between the first and the second half for Belgium is massive, and it proves when you've got world-class players and talent that you can bring on off the bench to change a game like they have done today is massive indeed, as Matthias Jensen comes onto the pitch. Of course, another player from Brentford to try and change the match, and Andreas Cornelius comes on as well, the tall striker, to try and change this game. But what a brilliant, brilliant finish it was from De Bruyne. Right at the edge of the box, he put a good enough amount of power on it. It was a brilliant finish, and credit to him, because he has certainly changed this game. And credit to Lukaku as well, who twice now has helped to open up the defence for Belgium. And what an unreal player Romelu Lukaku is. And what an unreal player Kevin De Bruyne is. And I did put him down for potentially to be the player for the Golden Boot. Of course, that was a goal, as there's a chance here for a third. Ball up towards Eden Hazard. Schmeichel has to come out. Desperate clearance in the end. And luckily, it does come towards Denmark. Because, first of all, Kevin De Bruyne was on the prowl. And Eden Hazard could have had a chance at a goal as well. But you just feel like now, with 18 minutes left here, maybe there's an opportunity for Belgium just to really try and kill this game off and get one or two more with 20 minutes left. They're a completely different side now with the world-class players on the pitch. As Tubbser says, come on you Danes, hoping for Denmark to get back into the match. Here's Højbjerg. No guard, trying to get into Braithwaite. Doesn't get to him in the end. It'll be a offside flag given on Braithwaite. So it will be a Belgian free kick. And with 17 minutes left, the Belgians have finally turned up. And the team ranked first in the world obviously won't be ranked first in the world for much longer if they don't win the tournament. Or at least go on a pretty heavy run. I think they'd have to probably make the semi-finals at the very least. And even then, it would depend on who would make the final to whether they'll be able to keep it or not. Because I think they're probably going to lose world number one if they don't win it. As Wayne saying there, come on Legoland with the Danish flag. And then Carl saying Schmeichel should have never been beaten in his near post. Should have done better in my opinion. It was a good shot in the end. It was a powerful effort. But I do agree with you to a certain extent. Maybe that's just us two being harsh, but as much as there was power put onto it, it wasn't projected into a corner of a goal. It was kind of slightly towards the middle. As there's a ball lobbed in towards Cornelius. Shot taken on and a good save from Courtois, who gets down towards the right-hand side of the post. And there's a little bit of the magic that we need to see from Denmark as they try and get back into this match. Here is Jensen. Into Vestergaard. Back to Jensen again. And Courtois doing very well there. As Peter Thompson says, that's the end of my bet. Still riding on my 500 quid win at 9-4 with Wales beating Turkey. I think England could score 5 tomorrow. As there's a chance here for De Bruyne. Good save. Simple save. As the Belgian forward, midfielder, whatever you want to call him these days, very nearly could have had a second in the match. With the Danish backline just slightly starting to open up. Of course, as much as they want to sit back and make sure that they've got players back to defend, they're going to have to push the numbers forward because of the desperation to go out there and get the goal. They're going to need to push the numbers forward. And that will allow this Belgian side to go on and maybe get themselves a few more opportunities in this match. But so far so good for the Belgians, as we will have the lineups coming out for Netherlands-Austria, I believe, in the next 10 or 15 minutes. So when they do come out, we'll have a quick talk through them ahead of tonight's game. Of course, you can join KL for that about 5 or 10 minutes before kick-off. I'll be joining him as well, but I'll be jumping in and out of the stream with KL kind of manning the show. Here's Braithwaite going all the way. Brilliant from Braithwaite, but an even better tackle from Toby Alderweireld, because I think he just stopped a certain goal from going in then. And again, as we saw in the first half, as this game continues on, it's criminal defending from Belgium. And very nearly, we could have had an equaliser in what has been a very lively game coming into the final 15 minutes of this match. And what a tackle that was as we get a corner for Denmark. I've got Cornelius in the box now, another player with height. Could they maybe get it to him? Ball is lobbed into the box. It's an in-swinging ball. And a good one at that, as Vestergaard gets it. Courtois punches it. And the referee will stop play. As Courtois was caught. And the Dutch referee has stopped, obviously, play with the clash of heads. And it is Courtois who should be alright. He looks all good. But it was a good header there from Vestergaard. Maybe a little bit too far away from goal to be putting that into the back of the net. And it was a chance again. We're seeing that chance from a few moments ago when Kevin De Bruyne took on the shot from outside the box. It was Romelu Lukaku going forward. It was Kier with a really good tackle to stop his man. And obviously it then came towards De Bruyne, who took on the shot first time. And it was a all-right effort in the end, I guess you could say. As we are going to have a quick moment here while the goalkeeper is down, Courtois, for a quick drinks break for the players. Of course, I don't know how warm it is in Denmark today, but it does look very lovely there. Warm weather, unfortunately, has gone here in the UK. Or they're saying that it's still fairly warm in my room right now. And just seeing again the chance from De Bruyne, the goal. In fact, like the more I look at it, I'm seeing it from the back camera angle. Yeah, the more I watch it, I agree with Kyle. I think he has got to save that. And as I said, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh, but I thought he should have saved that. So I do agree with you, Kyle. But while Courtois down, Simon Mignolet is on the bench if they need him. I don't think there was much in it, if I'm being honest with you. But hopefully, he's all right to continue. And he is indeed, he's all right to continue, which is good to see. Courtois back up on his feet, so no goalkeeper change needed as we enter the final 12 minutes. Although saying that, there'll probably be about 15 minutes of the game left with additional time. As it stands 2-1 to Belgium. Some good encouragement for the Danes, and especially for the fans in the stadium. There's been a few little opportunities in the last 5 or so minutes, you could say, to put the ball in the back of the net. They've just got to hope here that they can open the defence up, because when you look at the stats of the game, I mean, 17 attempts, 6 on target for Denmark, 5 attempts, 4 on target for Belgium. You know, it comes back to the point, I think I've said many a time before, that the world-class teams in football, with the greatest players, don't need many chances to put the ball in the back of the net. And that has proven perfect in this game today. You know, the weaker teams or the smaller teams, they need more chances in a match. They might need an extra 2 or 3 opportunities to what a team like Belgium will like. And ultimately, right now, I think it's one of those situations where you can't afford to give Belgium many more opportunities. Or else we might see a third goal for Belgium in this match. As the trickery is coming out on play now for the Belgians. With 10 minutes left. Here's Hazard. Going to play it into Yuri Tielemans. Now into De Bruyne, who's playing at the halfway line. Had a stellar game. Tielemans. Into the path of Hazard. It's going to be Alderweireld, who plays it around the back. Calm, patient build-up here from Belgium. As they look to guarantee their round of 16 spot. They would be the second side to get through to the next round. Technically the third, because you could say Wales will be joining them on 4 points. But Belgium right now, looking very good indeed. And depending on what happens, I know there's a possibility that maybe, depending on where both these sides finish, we could have the potential opportunity for a repeat of the 2016 semi-final between Belgium and Russia. I don't know what they'd have to finish and where for that to happen, but I know it is a possibility. As there's a call there. That Courtois might have handled the ball outside the box, but the referee disagrees and ushers it away. A bit of a risky moment there for Thibaut Courtois. As Belgium look to come forward. Tielemans trying to push forward, and in the end Jensen has tackled the Leicester City midfielder, and he will go into the book. And he's the second player who goes into the book today in this match. Of course, Premier League player now, Matthias Jensen. Had a brilliant season in the Championship. Of course, there's quite a few players in this squad from Brentford. Norgard, Damsgaard, Jensen, to name a few, that will be playing Premier League football. And as I said before, the fixture list coming out yesterday. Got a game against Arsenal to kick off the season, Brentford. That will be an absolute belter of a match, you would think, to see what Brentford can bring to the table. I mean, Norwich as well have got Liverpool first game, which I think happens every single season. And no doubt should be a very good start to the season to see what goes on with the big players. As we are going to have an injury. One of the players for Belgium's gone down here. And I think it's looking like It's going to be Thomas Meunier has gone down with a bit of cramp. Which you can see right now. Oh, it's Thorgan Hazard. Sorry, he's gone down with cramp. The Danes are not happy with the fact that he's gone down with cramp, as you would expect. Of course, most of the fans in the stadium are Danes. As they're going to make, I think they might make another change shortly. A few players just having a quick moment to have a drink. But no, it's alright. Thorgan Hazard's going to continue for now. And we might maybe see a change shortly. And bring Thorgan Hazard off. Here is Eden Hazard. His brother. Now Thorgan going to play it up the pitch to Toby Alderweireld, who has had a pretty good game. Probably been one of the few players in the back line that, although they have been opened up at times, has done really well. Although saying that, is a chance for Denmark to come forward. Ball played into the middle towards Cornelius. And it doesn't get to him. And they've got the ball back again here. Mailer. Ball into the box. And so nearly an opportunity for Braithwaite in the middle of the box. And it was great movement from the Barcelona man. And in that situation, you may be just wanting Braithwaite to be the man whipping the ball into the box and Cornelius to be the man on the touch. But if it was just half a second earlier, that ball, we could have had another goal. And Braithwaite, who I've got to say has had a very good game for Denmark today. He's been very lively. Just hasn't got the goal that maybe he feels he deserves. And another chance for Denmark. Goes wide of the mark as Yannick Vestergaard comes off the pitch. And as you would expect, let's not forget, they need to go for it in this game. They're going to bring on Andreas Olsen into this match. That is Andreas Skov Olsen, the winger from Bologna. Had a brilliant season in Serie A. As Denmark have to go for it now. If they don't win, it probably means Denmark are going to be booted out of the competition. I don't think 3 points is going to be good enough to go through to the next round. It might just be, but it would then depend on goal difference to whether or not they made it through. And of course, their goal difference right now will be -2, I think, which would have to go down because there will be other clubs with less goal difference, or better, sorry, at the least, with 3 points that will put them into the driving seat to maybe finish third and go through. Obviously, we only get 4 teams that go through from third place, so roughly, you would probably say 2, maybe 3 of the teams in third will finish on 4 points. But here come Denmark again. Braithwaite, ball into the box towards Skov Olsen, the substitute. But Courtois is there first, and it's a comfortable save for the Real Madrid goalkeeper. There'll be 5 minutes left here. Obviously, we'll still have a good bit of additional time. We have got the lineups for our next game this evening. Netherlands coming up against Austria. Those I will talk about in just a few moments' time. There are, I think, no changes to the team. Sorry, 1 change to the team that originally played that match out against Ukraine a few days ago. But as I said before, we will see whether or not they are able to beat Austria tonight, who also, if they win, will go through to the round of 16. But as Wayne has said in the chat, a draw here and a win would be good enough for them to go through to the next round. They don't have to win. They just need a point. Here's Norgard. Into Mailer. Can they get the ball pushed up the pitch here, Denmark? A point would be more than enough. And even then, of course, 4 points would, with a decent goal difference, probably get them through. And 4 points for Belgium as well would be enough. 4 minutes left. Quite happy to defend here, Belgium. I think is the best way to put it. As Denmark come forward. Ball lobbed into the box by Jensen. Doesn't get to Cornelius. Now it's Skov Olsen at the edge of the box. Lovely work from Skov Olsen. Takes on his man. Lobbed towards the near post and it hits the bar. And on a day where Martin Braithwaite has had so many opportunities, again, it's another chance for Braithwaite to put the ball in the back of the net. And this time it's the bar that stops him. And to be fair, when you look at the shot itself, it just didn't have enough dip on the header for it to come down. So it kind of grazed the very top of the bar. But again, another moment. And you can even see by Courtois' reaction that Belgium here are just living on tenterhooks in this last few minutes. As Braithwaite has what must be, I think, his 4th or 5th chance of the game to put the ball into the back of the net. And unfortunately, he hasn't put it in yet. But there's still time. Can they get it? Here's Belgium, though. Might have a chance to kill the game off once and for all. It's Eden Hazard on the left wing. Now to Axel Witsel. Back to Thorgan Hazard. Into Witsel at the halfway line. They'll look to run the clock down here, Belgium. Long ball towards De Bruyne. Good defending at the back by Daniel Vass. And Denmark will come forward again. Højbjerg. Still going. Plays it to Jensen. Not really got many players near him. Chance at the edge of the box. Cornelius takes on the shot on the volley from inside the box. Calls of a handball. Referee plays on. Skov Olsen on the wing. And eventually, in the end, he's wasted the ball. And it was good defending by Thorgan Hazard as Denmark will get themselves a throw-in. And I think they're going to try and take this long. And they are going to go long here with the throw-in. I think it's going to be Stryger Larsen of Udinese who tries to take the long throw-in. And he's going to take it short, actually. Can they do it? 1.5 minutes left of normal time. Can they get that only important goal? That will put them into a very good position to go through to the next round. Ball played towards Skov Olsen. Doesn't get to him in the end. And Courtois clears his lines. And another chance. That goes wide of the mark. As my laptop has frozen. Oh, there we go. It's back. Here's Braithwaite. Into Jensen. Brilliant opportunity. Goes for goal. And well, I think that was just a waste from Matthias Jensen. It's a good effort. And he caught it very well. But it just flew over Courtois' crossbar. And again, you know, with 45 seconds left of normal time, I don't think you want to be going for pot shots from long range to try and beat Courtois. But for those of you wondering, it's a 5-3-2 again today for the Dutch. Same team as last time. The only change of that team is that Matthias de Ligt, who was out of the last match, he is back into the starting 11 in the team. As for Austria today, they're going with a 4-4-2. Alaba is playing on the left mid position. Sabitzer and Gregorich are both up top together. Of course, it could also be a 4-4-1-1 like they played last time. As far as I'm aware, no changes from the original lineup that played in their previous game against North Macedonia. On the bench as well for the Dutch, Quincy Promes, another player who wasn't available in the last match. He is available today. As for Austria, you will obviously might have heard that Marko Arnautovic has been suspended for this game after his celebration in the last match was a very controversial one. He got a 1-match suspension, so he's not available for this match. So we won't be seeing him today. As we go into 4.5 minutes of additional time between Denmark and Belgium. Time is of the essence here. Will Belgium be about to surely send Denmark packing? As some of the Danish fans are now chucking their cups onto the pitch. But it's not going to work to stop Courtois. As he takes the kick, it goes all the way to Lukaku. Headed away by Christiansen. Tielemans has got the ball back though. He tries to play it towards Lukaku and his pass the end is a little bit weak. And now Denmark will come forward. Ball eventually hits the referee though. And Denmark will get it back at least here. And the referee just going to drop the ball, of course. And we play on with 4 minutes left. Is there time for a winner? Oh, sorry, a draw at the very least is probably what Denmark will want. Ball hit long. Comes towards Cornelius and he goes down in the box. And well, there were no shout for a penalty because he fell on his own. But very, very nearly a fraction away from Andreas Cornelius getting himself a touch. And he's so unlucky there as he slips in the box. And well, I wouldn't say that was a penalty shout or anything. But here come Belgium. De Bruyne with the ball into Meunier. He's done so well to get the touch. It's De Bruyne into Axel Witsel. Edge of the box is Yuri Tielemans. Goes to Witsel. Now into Eden Hazard. Back to Tielemans again. Some good one-touch football here from Belgium. Thorgan Hazard. Meunier. Into De Bruyne. Lukaku. Back to De Bruyne. Offside. And nothing will happen there for Belgium. As De Bruyne vents his frustrations. But they will not mean anything. Because Kasper Schmeichel here needs to get the ball up the pitch. With just 2.5 minutes left here of the match. Is there going to be a hero for Denmark? They've played very, very well in this game, and you could arguably say they do deserve something from this match after that first half performance, but the sheer class and quality from Belgium, with the likes of De Bruyne and Eden Hazard, have just come up trumps in this game. And we've said before that world-class teams with good strikers and forwards will take chances, and I think had you have put some other strikers in the positions that Martin Braithwaite had in the game, then maybe Denmark could have had a few other goals in this match. But ultimately today, it just hasn't been their day, and it's looking like here we might be saying goodbye potentially to Denmark. It doesn't mean that they're out, but it will mean it's probably 90% likely that they're going to be gone, as we are going to get a yellow card here for Thorgan Hazard and a free kick for Skov Olsen and for Denmark with a minute and a half left. Could this be the moment that Denmark need to roll the dice and land a point? And it's the right decision in the end. It is a high foot on Skov Olsen, who does go down in the end, and this has to be a good ball. And if anything, Kasper Schmeichel, for the first time in this tournament, the goalkeeper is up. That's what it means at this stage of the game. And Thomas Vermeulen's come onto the pitch for the last minute to defend this set piece. He comes on for Thorgan Hazard, but Schmeichel is on. Can Kasper Schmeichel maybe be the hero here? That'd be an incredible story. Free kick taken. 40 seconds left. Ball into the box. Comes towards Schmeichel. Doesn't get to him in the end. And now Kevin De Bruyne with a chance to break forward here. De Bruyne. And now this might be the chance for the goal. Shots taken on, and it's good defending in the end, as Meunier must have thought he was going to get a free goal. And it's a good bit of defending at the back to spare Kasper Schmeichel from potentially conceding another goal. And that will surely be that now. 15 seconds even left of the game. And that will surely be it, as Belgium have a corner kick here with 5 seconds left. They will literally keep it at the corner flag with Eden Hazard and De Bruyne. Ball played out to Tielemans. Back to De Bruyne again. With Tielemans. A little bit of additional time added to the additional time. Witsel at the edge of the box. Might even go for it if he wants to. Not going to go for it in the end. It's Hazard. And they'll play it back. And with a whistle in his mouth, there might be a chance here maybe for Denmark to come forward. Referee's going to allow the time to be played on. Braithwaite has to be literally immaculate here. Braithwaite going to go alone, and he takes the shot on. And that will be that. It is full time for Denmark. And that is a guaranteed spot in the round of 16 for Belgium. As for Denmark, it is very likely that the story is over for the Danes. And of course, with everything that has gone on with Denmark over the last week or so, it's hard to really think about the whole situation at the Euros. But the Belgians today, the first half was poor. The second half was sheer class and quality from the substitutes, including Kevin De Bruyne. And in the end, it is a big win for Belgium, who become the second side into the round of 16. And that will surely mean that Denmark, regarding a miracle, will be probably out of Euro 2020. And the final score is Belgium 2, Denmark 1. And unfortunate for them indeed. We have got more games to come up over the next hour or so. Of course, these are the games coming up today. We've already had Ukraine against North Macedonia. That game ended 2-1. Denmark-Belgium also ended 2-1. Does that mean Netherlands-Austria is going to end 2-1? We'll have to find out. You can join KL for that game. He'll be live in exactly about an hour's time. I will be there as well in the background, covering bits of the match as well. So do join us for that in about an hour's time indeed. If you want to check out our social media links as well, then I would highly recommend doing so. You can join us on Twitter. Our Twitter is at @_top_corner, and our Instagram is _sportscorner_. Do go and check those out if you haven't already. Be greatly appreciated if you do so. And then, of course, we've got more games coming up over the next few days on the channel. It's looking a little bit like this for what's to come over the next few days. Of course, we've already had the match between Denmark and Belgium, so we won't be seeing any of that. We have then got Netherlands-Austria coming up in about an hour's time. Should be a very good game indeed. Hopefully it's an enjoyable match to watch. Sweden-Slovakia is the first game tomorrow. You can join Rome from about 5 to 2 for that game. Should be a very exciting match indeed. The one to watch, England-Scotland, you can join me live 10 to 8 for that match. Should be a very good game at Wembley tomorrow evening. Hungary take on France. That's on the 19th of June. That's from about 5 to 2 with Rowan again. And that should be a very good game indeed. But that is it for now. I'm going to quickly hop off. Usually I talk about the rest of the game, but we've got another game coming up very shortly. Netherlands taking on Austria. I need to go and get everything set up for the next stream and get the lineup set and everything sorted. So I'll be back in about an hour's time. It'll be KL covering most of the stream. I'll be jumping in and out here and there. But for now, have a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon wherever you are. Don't forget to leave a like and subscription if you are new as always. And we'll see you back in about an hour's time. See you shortly.